you've done everything right. You've got the skills, you've got the experience, and your resume is perfect. You are more than qualified for this role. But there's one final massive hurdle standing between you and your dream job: the interview. It's the one variable that can feel completely out of your control, a live performance where every line matters. And doing it in English? That can feel incredibly, impossibly stressful. You sit there, your heart pounding, your brain scrambling for the perfect words. You worry about sounding unnatural, about your accent, about stumbling over a phrase, and about failing to show them just how capable you really are. You know that one wrong answer, one poorly chosen phrase, could create a moment of doubt and cost you everything. The pressure is immense. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you had a toolkit of powerful, professional English phrases that could turn that anxiety into pure confidence? In this video, I'm going to give you the top 10 phrases that will make you stand out and convince any interviewer that you're the one. These aren't just words. They're strategic tools, the keys that will unlock your potential and help you land the job. Let's get started. Section 1. Mastering Tell Me About Yourself. The first challenge in almost any interview is always the same. The interviewer leans back, smiles, and says, "So, tell me about yourself." This isn't just a casual icebreaker. It's a test of your focus, communication, and professionalism. A weak answer here can set a negative tone for the entire meeting. So many candidates fail by either reciting their entire resume, which the interviewer has already read, or by sharing personal details that just aren't relevant. They ramble, they lose focus, and they waste the single biggest opportunity to frame their entire candidacy. The problem here is a lack of structure. The solution is our first phrase, which is really a powerful formula. The present, past, future formula. This structure is your secret weapon for delivering a concise, compelling, and unforgettable introduction. It tells the interviewer right away that you're organized, professional, and focused on the value you can bring. It immediately signals that you respect their time and know how to get straight to the point. So what is it? It's a three-part story. I'm currently at your position at company. Previously, I worked at past company and I'm eager to bring my skills to a role where I can future goal at their company. Let's break down why this works so well. First, my present. You start by grounding them in your current reality. I'm currently at your position at company, where I describe 1-2 key responsibilities. This is your headline. It's what you do right now. Stating it clearly establishes your professional identity from the get-go. For example, I'm currently a senior marketing analyst at Tech Forward, where I'm responsible for analyzing market trends and developing data-driven campaign strategies. It's direct, confident, and immediately relevant. Second, the past. This is where you give crucial context and build your credibility. Previously, I worked at past company where I gained experience in specific relevant skills. This isn't a long history lesson. It's a strategic look back at 1 or 2 experiences that directly built the skills you need for this job. Think of it as connecting the dots for the interviewer, showing them your career has been a deliberate journey. For example, before this, I was a junior analyst at Innovate Corp, where I really honed my skills in data visualization and first learned how to manage large-scale consumer surveys. That experience was foundational because it taught me how to turn raw data into actionable stories. You're showing a clear, deliberate career path. Finally, the future. This is the most critical part. This is where you connect your entire story directly to them. I'm eager to bring my skills to a company like their company and contribute to specific company goal or value. This shows you've done your research and you're genuinely interested in this specific opportunity, not just any old job. For instance, I was so excited to see this opening at Global First Solutions because I know you're focused on expanding into new international markets, and I'm eager to apply my experience in global trend analysis to help drive that growth. Let's see it all together. Imagine you're interviewing for a project manager role at a renewable energy company. A weak answer sounds like this. Well, I graduated a few years ago, worked at a tech company, then a construction company, and now I'm looking for something new. I'm a hard worker and good with people. It's vague, unfocused, and tells the interviewer nothing of value. Now, let's use the present-past-future formula. I'm currently a project coordinator at Build-Right Construction, where I manage timelines and budgets for multi-million-dollar commercial projects. My main focus is ensuring we hit every milestone on time and under budget. Previously, I was an assistant project manager at a smaller firm, which is where I developed my core skills in risk assessment and stakeholder communication. I'm now looking to apply this experience to a sector I'm truly passionate about. I was particularly drawn to your company because of your commitment to sustainable innovation, and I'm eager to bring my project management expertise to help you successfully launch your new line of solar solutions. Feel the difference? The first answer is forgettable. The second is a story. It's a compelling narrative that presents you as a logical, strategic, and motivated candidate who is the perfect fit. You haven't just answered a question. You've made a powerful opening statement. Section 2. Turning weakness into strength sooner. Or later, it's coming. That dreaded question. What is your greatest weakness? This is a total minefield. For many candidates, this is the moment the interview starts to go downhill. They fall into one of two traps. The first is the cliché, humble brag answer, I'm a perfectionist, or I just work too hard. Interviewers have heard these 1,000 times, and they see right through them. They show a lack of self-awareness and feel completely disingenuous. The second trap is being too honest and revealing a weakness that's critical for the job. I'm not very good with deadlines is the last thing you want to say when you're applying for a project manager role. This just waves a giant red flag and gives them a reason to toss your application. The problem isn't the question, it's the strategy. The goal isn't just to name a flaw, it's to demonstrate self-awareness, proactivity, and a commitment to growth. This brings us to our second powerful phrase, a formula for turning this tough question into a huge opportunity. One area I've identified for professional development is the weakness, and I'm actively working on this by the specific action you're taking. This phrase is brilliant because it reframes the whole idea of weakness. It's no longer a permanent flaw. It's an area for development. It's not a problem you have. It's a project you are actively managing. Let's look at why it's so powerful. First, one area I've identified for professional development is this wording is strategic. It shows you're reflective and in control of your career. You aren't waiting for a manager to point out your flaws. You're finding them yourself. This immediately signals maturity and initiative. The key is to choose a real but non-critical weakness. For instance, if you're a brilliant software developer applying for a coding-heavy role, a good choice might be public speaking or delegation. If you are an accountant, maybe it's creative brainstorming. Choose something that doesn't disqualify you. For example, one area I've identified for professional development is my public speaking and presentation skills. This is an honest, relatable weakness, and unless you're applying to be a company spokesperson, it's not a deal breaker. The second part of the phrase is where the magic happens. And I'm actively working on this by the specific action you're taking. This part is non-negotiable. You can't just state a weakness without showing what you're doing to fix it. This shows you have a growth mindset, one of the most attractive qualities in a new hire. It shows you're coachable, resilient, and dedicated to getting better. The action has to be specific and tangible. Don't just say, I'm trying to improve. Say, how? Let's continue our example. And I'm actively working on this. I recently joined a local Toastmasters club to practice speaking in front of an audience each week. I've also started volunteering to lead our internal team meetings to get more comfortable presenting to smaller groups. While it doesn't feel natural just yet, I've already seen a huge improvement in my confidence. Look at what this answer does. You've been honest. You've shown self-awareness. You've proven you're proactive by taking concrete steps. And you've ended on a high note of progress. You've taken a question designed to find your flaws and used it to showcase your greatest strengths. Resilience and a commitment to growth. Let's contrast this with a weak answer. Interviewer: what is your greatest weakness? Candidate: I guess I'm a perfectionist. I just can't stand it when things aren't done perfectly, so I often end up staying late to check everything over. This just sounds like a disguised strength, and it's a total cliché. It can also subtly suggest you might struggle with deadlines or have a hard time collaborating with people who don't meet your perfect standards. Now, another full example with our power phrase. Imagine you're interviewing for a team lead position. One area I have identified for professional development is my old tendency to want to handle everything myself, especially under pressure. In the past, I found it hard to delegate tasks because I wanted to guarantee they were done to a high standard. I quickly recognized that this wasn't scalable and was limiting my team's growth, so I'm actively working on it. I recently took a leadership course that focused on effective delegation. Now, in my current role, I make a real effort to find tasks that can be growth opportunities for my team members, and I've put a clearer system in place for tracking progress without micromanaging. It's helped me focus on the bigger picture and has really empowered my team to take more ownership. This is a fantastic answer. It addresses a real weakness for a leader, but frames it as a past tendency that is being successfully managed. It's honest, strategic, and incredibly persuasive. This phrase turns a moment of vulnerability into a display of true leadership potential. Section 3. Highlighting your achievements with impact. The interview is going well. You've nailed the introduction and handled the weakness question. Now the interviewer wants to know what you can actually do. They'll ask questions like, "What's your greatest professional achievement?" Or, "Tell me about a time you made a significant contribution to a project. This is your moment to shine." But so many candidates drop the ball here. They give vague answers like, "I was part of a team that increased sales," or "I successfully finished a major project." These answers are weak because they lack detail, ownership, and, most importantly, results. They don't quantify the impact. The problem is a failure to tell a good story. The solution is our third power phrase, another formula that will become your best friend for any behavioral question. The STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. It's a framework for your answers that makes them detailed, memorable, and impactful. The phrase to kick off a great STAR answer is, a specific example that comes to mind is when. This simple opener does two things. It signals to the interviewer that you're about to give a concrete, evidence-based example, and it gives you a second to structure your thoughts using STAR. Let's break down STAR. S. Situation. Briefly set the scene. What was the context? What was the challenge? Keep this part short and sweet. Example. In my previous role as a customer support manager, our team was dealing with a customer satisfaction score that had dropped by 15% in the last quarter. Your task. What was your specific responsibility? What was the goal? Example, my task was to figure out the root cause of the problem and implement a strategy to get our satisfaction score back up by at least 10% within 3 months. A. Action. This is the heart of your story. What specific steps did you take? Use strong active verbs. This should be the most detailed part of your answer. Crucially, don't say, "We did this." Say, "I did this." Even if it was a team project, focus on your individual contribution. The interviewer is hiring you, not your team. Example. First, I analyzed all customer complaints from the previous quarter and discovered the main issue was our slow response time. I then designed and rolled out a new tiered support system, so urgent issues were immediately escalated. I personally trained the team on this new protocol and created new email templates to make our first responses faster and more empathetic. Result. This is the grand finale. What was the outcome? Quantify it whenever you can. Use numbers, percentages, and metrics to prove your impact. This is what separates a good story from a great one. Example. As a result of these changes, we cut our average first response time in half, from 8 hours to 4. In just 2 months, our customer satisfaction score shot up by 18%, blowing past our original goal. This new system worked so well that it was adopted by 2 other departments across the company. Let's put it all together with our opening phrase. Interviewer. Can you tell me about a time you went above and beyond in your role? Candidate. A specific example that comes to mind is from my last job. Situation. Our company was launching a major new software product, but the marketing team was completely swamped, and the whole launch was at risk of being delayed. Task. Although it wasn't technically my job as a data analyst, I made it my mission to find a way to support the marketing team so we could hit our launch date. Action. I noticed they were spending hours and hours manually creating social media content. Using my experience with automation tools, I spent a weekend researching and building a series of automated workflows in Zapier to generate customized content for different platforms. I even recorded a quick training video and presented it to the team to get them up and running quickly. Result. Because of this, they cut their content creation time by almost 20 hours a week. This freed them up to focus on strategy, the launch went off without a hitch, and the product beat its first quarter sales targets by 30%. I was even given a company award for my initiative. This answer is incredibly powerful. It's specific, it's action-oriented, it's packed with quantifiable results, and it positions you as a proactive, problem-solving team player. By using a specific example that comes to mind is, and then following the STAR structure, you go from making empty claims about your skills to proving them with hard evidence. Section 4. Demonstrating real enthusiasm and fit. Every company wants to hire someone who isn't just capable, but who is also genuinely excited about the role and the company. They want to know you're not just looking for any job, you want this job. Interviewers will ask, "Why do you want to work here?" Or, "What interests you about this role?" A weak candidate gives a generic, self-centered answer, "I'm looking for a new challenge," or, "The benefits are good," or, "It seems like the next step in my career." These answers are all about you. They do nothing to show the interviewer what you think about them. The problem is a lack of genuine research-backed enthusiasm. You have to connect your passion and your skills directly to the company's mission, values, or recent wins. This brings us to our 4th power phrase. What really excites me about this opportunity is the chance to apply my experience in your key skill to the specific challenge of company's goal or project. I was also very impressed by specific company value or achievement. This phrase is a game changer because it works on two levels at once. It confirms your skills while showing a deep, authentic interest in the company itself. Let's break it down. Part 1. What really excites me about this opportunity is the chance to apply my experience in your key skill to the specific challenge of company's goal or project. This immediately frames your interest in terms of contribution, not what you can get. You've identified a need they have, and you're presenting yourself as the solution. This takes research. You need to know what the company is working on, read their latest press releases, check their social media, look at their quarterly earnings reports, and understand their strategic goals. For example, if you're a supply chain expert interviewing at an electric car company, you might say, "What really excites me about this opportunity is the chance to apply my experience in logistics optimization to the challenge of scaling your battery supply chain. I read in your last shareholder letter that this is a huge priority for you as you expand production." Part 2. I was also very impressed by specific company value or achievement. This is where you prove you're a good cultural fit. It shows you did your homework and that your values line up with theirs. Don't just say you have a great culture, be specific. Did they win an award for being a top employer? Do they have a well-known employee volunteer program? Did their CEO give a recent speech or interview you can reference? Continuing our example, I was also very impressed by your recent Zero Waste Factory initiative. It shows a deep commitment to sustainability that aligns perfectly with my own professional values. That's the kind of forward-thinking environment I'd be proud to join. Let's look at a full example. Imagine you're interviewing for a user experience, UX designer role at a health tech startup. A weak answer: "I'm really into UX design, and your company is doing cool things in health. I think I have the skills for the job." Now, with our power phrase, what really excites me about this opportunity is the chance to apply my experience in designing user-centric mobile interfaces to the challenge of making healthcare more accessible for elderly users, which I know is a core part of your mission. I truly believe my skills can help with that goal. I was also so impressed when I read about your Design for Everyone philosophy on your company blog. That commitment to inclusivity is something I'm passionate about, and it's a huge reason why I think I would thrive in your company culture. This answer is compelling. It shows you're not just a skilled designer. You're a mission-driven designer who gets their business and shares their values. You've gone from being a generic applicant to being the perfect candidate who just gets it. This phrase doesn't just express interest. It shows genuine, well-researched enthusiasm, which is one of the most persuasive things you can bring to an interview. Section 5. The smartest question to ask the interviewer. Towards the end of the interview, the tables will turn. The interviewer will ask, "So, do you have any questions for me?" This is not a formality. It is one of the most critical parts of the interview, and so many candidates get it wrong. The absolute worst answer is, "No, I think you've covered everything." This signals a lack of curiosity, engagement, and critical thought. The next worst approach is asking basic questions you could have easily found online, like, "So what does your company do?" or selfish questions about salary and vacation time before you even have an offer. The problem is, most candidates see this as their chance to get information, but that's the wrong way to look at it. This is your final opportunity to show them how you think. The questions you ask say more about you than many of the answers you've given. You need to ask questions that are insightful, strategic, and focused on the company's challenges and goals. This brings us to our fifth power phrase, a question that will make any interviewer sit up and pay attention. Could you describe the main challenges someone in this role would face in the first 3 to 6 months? This question is brilliant for several reasons. First, it shows you're a strategic, long-term thinker. You're not just thinking about getting the job. You're already thinking about how to succeed in the job. You're mentally stepping into the role and preparing for the hurdles. That's a classic leadership trait. Second, it proves that you're proactive and results-oriented. You want to know what the problems are so you can start thinking about how to solve them. You're basically saying, I'm a problem solver. Tell me where to aim my energy to deliver value for you as fast as possible. Third, it can turn the interview into a collaborative conversation. The interviewer's answer gives you a golden opportunity to follow up and reinforce your own value. Let's play this out. You ask, could you describe the main challenges someone in this role would face in the first 3 months? The interviewer might say, that's a great question. Honestly, the biggest challenge will be getting up to speed on our new CRM system. It has a steep learning curve, and you'll need to help the sales team adopt it effectively. Now you have the perfect opening for a follow-up. You can say, thank you, that's really helpful to know. In my previous role, I was part of the team that led our transition to a new CRM. I actually developed some training guides that helped our team get comfortable with the platform 30% faster than expected. I'm confident I could bring a similar approach here. See how powerful that is? You've not only asked a smart question, but you've used the answer to give another concrete example of how you are the perfect solution to their current problem. Here are a few other excellent, strategic questions you could ask. How does this particular role contribute to the company's bigger goals for this year? What do the most successful people in this role or on this team have in common? Can you tell me about the team I would be working with and how the roles interact? Could you share a recent team success you were particularly proud of? Asking a question like, could you describe the main challenges, shifts the entire dynamic. You're no longer just a candidate being interviewed. You're a strategic partner, a consultant who is already thinking about how to help the company win. It's one of the most effective ways to leave a lasting, positive impression. Section 6. Handling questions about failure. Just when you think you're through the toughest questions, another one emerges from the shadows. Tell me about a time you failed. It feels like a trap, designed to get you to admit a fatal flaw. Many candidates panic. They either pretend they've never failed, I can't really think of a time, which sounds arrogant and dishonest, or they blame other people, which shows a lack of accountability. Others confess a failure so catastrophic it makes the interviewer question their basic competence. The goal here is not to prove you're perfect. It's to prove you're resilient and that you learn from your mistakes. Failure is an engine for growth, and mature professionals know this. The phrase that transforms this question from a threat into an opportunity is, a project that didn't go as planned was project name. And looking back, I learned a valuable lesson. The key takeaway was the lesson, which I now apply by new, specific action. This framework is powerful because it quickly moves past the failure and focuses on the positive outcomes. Learning and improvement. Let's analyze it. A project that didn't go as planned is a much softer, more professional way to say, a time I failed. It frames it in a project context, not as a personal character flaw. You then immediately pivot to the positive. And I learned a valuable lesson. This signals to the interviewer that you are self-aware and capable of critical self-reflection. The most important part is the final clause, which I now apply by new specific action. This is your proof. You're not just saying you learned something. You're providing concrete evidence of how that learning has changed your professional behavior for the better. This demonstrates a growth mindset in action. Imagine you're a marketing manager. Interviewer. Tell me about a time you failed. Weak answer. We launched a product last year, and the marketing campaign was a total disaster. My boss had given us a bad brief, and the sales team didn't support us properly. It just didn't work. This answer is full of blame and negativity. It shows no ownership. Now let's use the power phrase. Strong answer. A project that didn't go as planned was the launch campaign for our Connect Pro software last year. We made some assumptions about our target audience's messaging preferences that turned out to be incorrect, and our initial engagement numbers were much lower than we forecasted. Looking back, I learned a valuable lesson about the importance of testing assumptions before a full-scale launch. My key takeaway was that we can't rely solely on historical data for a new product category. I now apply this lesson by championing a test-and-learn approach. For my very next campaign, I insisted on running small-scale A/B tests on 3 different messaging strategies with a limited budget. As a result, we identified the most effective message, and our final campaign surpassed its lead generation goal by 25%. That initial setback directly led to a much better process. This answer is masterful. It takes ownership, clearly identifies the lesson, and provides a specific, quantified example of how the lesson led to future success. You've successfully turned a story about failure into a story about growth and competence. Section 7. Explaining why you're leaving your current job. This is a question that always feels personal and high stakes. Why are you looking to leave your current role? Or, why are you looking for a new job? You have to be careful. If you're too negative about your current employer, you'll come across as a complainer who might badmouth them in the future. If you say it's just for the money, you can seem disloyal. If you seem directionless, you appear unfocused. The mistake is framing your decision as running away from a bad situation. The correct strategy is to frame it as running toward a better opportunity that aligns more closely with your long-term career goals. Our 7th power phrase accomplishes this perfectly. While I've genuinely valued my time and growth at current company, especially in area of learning, I've reached a point where I'm eager to find an opportunity that allows me to more fully apply my skills in your key skill. This role is particularly exciting because reason specific to the new job. This phrase is a masterclass in professional diplomacy. First, while I've genuinely valued my time and growth at current company, you begin with positivity and gratitude. This shows you are professional and not burning bridges. It neutralizes any suspicion that you're a disgruntled employee. Next, I've reached a point where I'm eager to find an opportunity that allows me to more fully apply my skills in your key skill. This is the pivot. You're not saying your old job is bad. You're saying you have more to offer. You've outgrown the role in a positive way. It frames your ambition as a desire to contribute more, which is highly attractive to a new employer. Finally, this role is particularly exciting because reason-specific to the new job. This connects everything back to them. It shows this isn't a random search. It's a deliberate move toward their specific opportunity. It proves you've thought deeply about why this role at this company is the right next step. Let's see it in action. Imagine you're a software developer. Weak answer. My boss micromanages me, I'm bored with the projects, and I feel like I'm underpaid. I'm just ready for a change. This is honest, but it's a red flag for any interviewer. It's negative and self-focused. Strong answer. While I've genuinely valued my time and growth at Innovatech, especially the opportunity to hone my skills in back-end Python development, I've reached a point where I'm eager to find an opportunity that allows me to more fully apply my skills in machine learning. I've been developing my expertise in this area through side projects and certifications, and I'm ready to make it the core of my professional work. This role is particularly exciting because your team is a leader in applying predictive analytics to the fintech space, which is exactly where I want to build my career. The chance to contribute to projects like your fraud detection engine is a perfect match for my ambitions. This answer is forward-looking, positive, and strategic. It shows you're not just leaving a job. You're pursuing a career with intention and purpose. Section 8. Showing you are a true team player. Are you a team player? It seems like a simple yes or no question, but a simple yes is a weak, unconvincing answer. Interviewers will dig deeper with behavioral questions like, "Tell me about a time you worked on a team project." Here, many candidates make a critical error. They tell a story that makes them sound like a solo hero who single-handedly saved a dysfunctional team. This hero complex is a red flag, suggesting you might struggle to collaborate or share credit. Employers want to see that you can integrate seamlessly, leverage the strengths of others, and prioritize the collective goal over your own ego. The best way to do this is with our 8th phrase, which combines the STAR method with a specific focus on collaboration. I thrive in collaborative environments. A great example of this was when my team was tasked with the goal. My specific role was to your responsibility, but I knew success depended on us working together. So I made a point to specific collaborative action, which allowed us to leverage colleagues' strength in their skill. The result was that as a team, we achieved the outcome. This structure is designed to highlight collaboration. I thrive in collaborative environments. This is a strong, positive opening statement. Then you provide the proof. You set the stage with the team's goal, not just your own. My specific role was, but I knew success depended on us working together. This shows you understand your individual responsibilities within a broader team context. So, I made a point to specific collaborative action. This is the core of your answer. What did you do to facilitate teamwork? Did you initiate communication? Did you offer to help someone? Did you create a shared document? Be specific, which allowed us to leverage colleagues' strength in their skill. This is the magic ingredient. By explicitly naming a colleague's strength and explaining how you helped leverage it, you show that you recognize and value the contributions of others. This is the opposite of the hero complex. Finally, then as a team, we achieved the outcome. You frame the final success as a collective achievement. Let's say you're a graphic designer, interviewer. Tell me about a time you worked on a team. Strong answer. I thrive in collaborative environments. A great example of this was when my team was tasked with a complete rebrand of our company's website on a tight deadline. My specific role was to create the new visual assets and mock-ups. But I knew success depended on seamless integration with the copywriter and the web developer. So, from day one, I made a point to set up a shared Slack channel for real-time feedback and scheduled brief, 15-minute daily syncs. This proactive communication allowed us to leverage Sarah's, our copywriter's, strength in crafting concise headlines. I could adjust my designs around her brilliant copy instantly, rather than waiting for formal approvals. The result was that as a team, we not only met the deadline but launched a site that increased user engagement by 40% in the first month. It was a true team win. This answer demonstrates humility, proactivity, and a genuine understanding of what it means to be a team player. You're not just a talented individual. You're a force multiplier for the entire team. Section 9. Describing your leadership style as you advance in your career. You'll inevitably face questions about leadership, whether you're applying for a manager position or a senior individual contributor role. How would you describe your leadership style? Is a common one. The trap here is to use vague, overused buzzwords without any substance. I'm a servant leader, or I'm a transformational leader. These labels mean nothing without context and can sound like you just read a management book without understanding it. A great answer demonstrates flexibility, self-awareness, and a focus on results. It shows you adapt your style to the team and the situation. This leads to our 9th power phrase, a formula for a nuanced and impressive response. I would describe my leadership style as primarily your core style, but I believe in being adaptive. My main goal is to overarching goal, so I adjust my approach based on the team's needs. For example, when my team is situation A, I focus on action A. However, if the situation is more like situation B, I shift to action B. Let's break this down. I would describe my leadership style as primarily your core style. You start with a clear label, like supportive, coaching, or democratic. This provides a solid anchor. But I believe in being adaptive. This immediately shows nuance and sophistication. You're not a one-trick pony. My main goal is to overarching goal. This connects your style to a purpose. What is the ultimate aim of your leadership? Is it to empower the team to do their best work, foster innovation, or ensure we hit our strategic targets? For example, when I focus on, however, if I shift to, this is where you bring your philosophy to life with concrete examples. You show, not just tell. This proves you have real-world experience and can apply your leadership theory in practice. Imagine you're interviewing for a department head role. Weak answer. I'm a people person. I believe in servant leadership and empowering my team. It's generic and forgettable. Now let's use the formula, strong answer. I would describe my leadership style as primarily coaching-focused, but I believe in being adaptive to the situation. My main goal is to empower each team member to take ownership and grow their skills. So I adjust my approach based on their experience and the task at hand. For example, when my team is tackling a familiar project where they are the experts, I focus on being a resource, removing obstacles, providing support, and staying out of their way. I trust them to deliver. However, if the situation is a new high-stakes challenge the team hasn't faced before, I shift to a more directive and hands-on approach. I'll facilitate brainstorming sessions, help define the project plan more clearly, and check in more frequently to ensure we're all aligned and on track. It's about providing the right level of support at the right time. This answer demonstrates that you're a thoughtful, flexible, and results-oriented leader. You're not just managing people. You're strategically developing them and guiding them to success. Section 10. The ultimate closer. Leaving a lasting impression. The interview is wrapping up. You've answered their questions, and you've asked yours. This is the final moment. Your last chance to make an impression. Many candidates simply say, "Thank you for your time," and leave. It's polite, but it's a wasted opportunity. You want to end on a high note of confidence and enthusiasm, reinforcing why you are the right choice. This is where you deploy your final power phrase. A concise and powerful closing statement that summarizes your fit and reiterates your interest. Thank you again for your time. Based on our conversation, especially what you said about company's key challenge or goal, I'm even more confident that my experience in your key skill would allow me to come in and start adding value quickly. I'm very excited about this opportunity and the possibility of helping your team achieve specific desired outcome. This closing is effective for several reasons. First, based on our conversation, especially what you said about company's key challenge or goal, this shows you were listening intently. You're referencing a specific pain point they mentioned during the interview, proving your engagement and analytical skills. Second, I'm even more confident that my experience in your key skill would allow me to come in and start adding value quickly. You are directly connecting your specific skill to their specific need. You're not just saying you can do the job. You're reminding them that you are the solution to their problem. The phrase, "start adding value quickly," is music to an interviewer's ears. Finally, I'm very excited about this opportunity and the possibility of helping your team achieve specific desired outcome. You end with genuine, forward-looking enthusiasm. You're not just excited about getting a job, you're excited about contributing to their success. It's a confident, professional, and memorable way to close the sale. Let's see the final comparison. Weak closing. Okay, great. Thank you so much for meeting with me. I hope to hear from you soon. It's passive and forgettable. Strong closing. Thank you again for your time. Based on our conversation, especially what you said about the need to improve data reporting efficiency for the leadership team, I'm even more confident that my background in building automated Power BI dashboards is a strong match. My skills in data architecture would allow me to come in and start adding value quickly. I'm very excited about this opportunity and the possibility of helping your team deliver those clearer, faster insights. I really look forward to hearing about the next steps. This final statement is the perfect bookend to a great interview. It's not arrogant. It's confidently helpful. You leave them with the clear, unshakable impression that hiring you is not a risk, but a strategic investment in their own success. Outro, and there you have it. The top 10 phrases that will transform your interview performance. We've covered how to open with a powerful narrative, turn weaknesses into strengths, prove your achievements with data, ask intelligent questions, and close with confidence. These aren't magic words, but they are strategic tools that give your skills and experience the voice they deserve. Practice them, adapt them to your own story, and walk into your next interview not with anxiety, but with the unshakable confidence that you are the right person for the job. If you found this video helpful and want more content to level up your professional English and accelerate your career, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps the channel immensely and ensures you won't miss the next video. Thank you for watching, and go land that dream job.